Apple season is upon us, and so today I want to share with you two of the different ways I'm preserving apples. First, we're going to prepare some apples for freeze drying with some caramel and some cinnamon and sugar. And then I want to share with you an apple crisp filling recipe that can also be used for pies that I'm going to prepare for the freezer, and then I can pull it out later and make a pie or a crisp whenever I want. So stick around. Thank God for coffee. And real quick, if becoming more self-sufficient is a topic that interests you, that is exactly what Dan and I are doing on our channel. So you may want to hit that subscribe button and also like our video if you like this video, because it does help us with YouTube, and leave us a comment about what you think. Dan brought home about 4 half tubs from our beautiful neighbor's family, 4 different varieties. First thing we're going to do is prepare some for freeze drying. The first thing I did was grab a bowl, put some cold water in it, and added about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice to it. This will help keep the apple slices from browning while I'm preparing them for the trays. Then I used the apple peeler core slicer to make some nice even slices, and this is what I'll use to process for the apple crisp filling also. Now it's time to get them on the freeze drying trays. And one thing you notice is that I do have some silicone mats in my trays this time. You can buy silicone mats for your freeze dryer. The trays clean up super easy, but the silicone mat helps to get the product off of the tray a little bit easier. And what I did was I had a pastry mat that I really wasn't using at all. I kind of prefer just using the counter. So I went ahead and cut that up to fit in my trays, and it's been working really well. Once I got all my apples lined up on my trays, now is the delicious part. I took some caramel sundae topping and just drizzled it over some of these apple slices. Then I took a shaker mixed with sugar and cinnamon and sprinkled that over some also. And I'm going to leave 1 tray plain just because I've never freeze dried the apple slices before and I want to taste what they're like plain. Then it was time to get them in the freeze dryer. And I'm going to come back and show you what they're like after they're freeze dried and do a taste test. But while they're freeze drying, I'm going to go ahead and share with you that quick recipe for freezing some apple crisp and pie filling. You want about 6 to 8 apples depending on size. A good tart apple is usually best, but really any apple is going to work. And then to this bowl, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then a dash of salt. Then I just want to mix that up and make sure everything's kind of distributed more evenly. And if you haven't seen the video on my mother's apple crisp recipe, you'll want to take a look at that, because I use one of these bags from the freezer to make that recipe, and you'll be able to see the delicious topping that I use for that apple crisp. And I will link to that video at the end of this one and also in the description. So once that is all mixed up, then you're just ready to put it in a gallon size freezer bag. I use a kind of a flexible bowl because it's a whole lot easier to get those apples all in that bag. Then we're just going to kind of squeeze the air out of it and seal the bag. And then I like to spread it out flat so that I can stack these once they're frozen in my freezer. It just saves a lot of space. Let's take a look at our freeze-dried apple slices. These took about 14 hours in the freeze dryer to be completely dry. And I want you to take a look at what they are like. They're very light, very crispy. They're not chewy at all. And this time, because I know they're not gonna last very long, I'm just gonna vacuum seal some jars of these with my food saver. I love this attachment. It really seals things well, and it doesn't take very long. And now for the taste test on these freeze-dried apple slices. First one I'm going to taste is just the plain one, just to see what kind of apple flavor it retained. Wow, that's like a concentrated apple flavor. It's really, really, really good. And just to know that it's retaining like 97% of its nutritional value out of the freeze dryer is amazing to me. Now let's try the cinnamon and sugar one. That's good. The cinnamon and the sugar adds just that little bit of kick of flavor in there. And that's really good. And now the caramel one, which I'm really excited to try. The caramel kind of bubbled up a little bit in the freeze dryer. Oh my gosh. That is just like candy. It's like eating a piece of candy. I can already tell that I'm going to be doing another full load of the caramel apple slices. The rest of today, I am going to be juicing a whole lot of apples in preparation for making apple jelly. We certainly hope that you've enjoyed being here today, and we hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time.